Hi, everybody. Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Cole Delbick from HuffPost, and today we're joined by some of my favorite people on TV, the cast of TV Land's Younger. Coming off its most watched season ever, the show returns for a much-anticipated 5th season on Tuesday night. What began as the story of a 40-something woman lying about her age has evolved into one of the most incisive and charming takes on millennial culture today. And there's no end in sight, with the season 6 officially on its way. Before the cast comes out, we have a trailer for you, so let's take a look.
Let me tell you something. You become what you do. If you cheat, you become a cheater. If you lie, you become a liar.
There's someone else. I just know it.
I'm kind of seeing both of them.
What? Why didn't you tell me?
You have been gaslighting an entire company since I met you. Can I have one secret?
I have to pretend so much in my life, and I just can't do it anymore.
Well, somebody finally found his balls.
My advice is sneak around and do it like 30 times until the novelty wears off. And then, if it's still hot, tell the truth, blow up your life, and maybe it'll be worth it.
We were never real. How did I not see this?
This is such a mess.
We all have issues. We're all scared to put our hearts out there, but the good stuff only happens when we risk letting the bad stuff happen too.
BT dubs love your work, love you, love this, love this, love that.
The world is ageist, and until that changes, I can't play by the rules.
Wait. How did you?
I didn't run away.
For the cast of Younger, everybody. Hi, guys. So nice to see you all again.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
So season 5 kicks off tonight, but I heard that you guys found out the show was renewed for a 6th season at the premiere party last night.
Last night.
What was
Season
the
6.
reaction? Was there like shots thrown around? There was a dancing all night? Break it down for me.
I feel like we knew something was up because they were like, they corralled us in the midst of a party, surrounded us with a velvet rope and people and photographers, and they're like, we have something to say.
We're like, we're either getting fired or we're getting picked up again.
Right. There was
Fired
a
at the premiere
champagne
party.
toast. It was a nice moment.
It was nice.
Yeah.
We did a little dancing afterwards.
yeah,
and
there was
There was some
Jake.
celebration.
that thing with everybody else around us.
I think we all really love our job, so we were happy to be able to get another season. And
Yeah.
be able to
When it's going to start?
Not yet.
Jen's been in the schedule.
Unless
She's
you
like,
want
when's
to
the
plan a
shoot date?
vacation.
March?
Because until
Okay.
then, it's just will never work again.
Now we have to
right?
find a
So
job.
you know.
Great.
You know, well, the show has really grown up over the past 4 seasons. Like, it's sort of become this intergenerational love story among these women instead of just about Liza's secret. So ahead of the 5th season, do you feel like the show is starting to outgrow that initial premise of who's going to find out if Liza's lying? Maybe, Sutton, you can take this?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think, yes, that was the original conceit of the show, but it has evolved. And it's still a part of the story, but it really is more about these relationships. And I think that the show can exist without that conceit at all. I would hope so. Someday it would be such a relief. But I think that the show has evolved as the world has changed too. The show has changed along with it, which I think is exciting. The writers have really taken that.
I mean, show of hands, who knows Liza's secret starting in the beginning of the 5th season? Raise your hand.
I created it.
Yes, I know. You're the originator.
That's true.
Debbie's the original architect. I love that.
But it wasn't supposed to like be a big deal. You know, it wasn't supposed to last this long necessarily.
It's never supposed to be hurtful. Everyone knows that.
I think she did it to.
Hustle.
Yeah, she had to do what she had to do. She had no idea that it would turn into so much drama and excitement and intrigue. Yeah.
You know, if the world didn't force it on her, she could have just gone to work and been like, yeah, I'm 40. Watch what I can do. Right. The world was like, oh, we don't want your kind. So she was like, fine.
Absolutely. Well, the show, you know, tackles sort of increasingly topical issues, everything from ageism in the workplace to imposter syndrome. And this premiere really delves into the Me Too movement. And Younger wasn't necessarily the show that I'd expect to find resonance with this cultural moment, but I was so pleasantly surprised to find these really worthwhile and powerful points in the episode. So I'd love to hear from you. How does the show really take this movement head on in the opener?
A lot of the world changed between season 4 and season 5, and the writers had to even look at characters that they created and things that they thought they had to kind of go back and look at. They've created this character, L.L. Moore, and he was sort of this sleazy old man who like hit on women.
And it was funny. It had like a funny element.
Yeah, it's
and
not funny
not
anymore.
funny anymore.
Yeah,
It
Not
hasn't
funny
been
anymore.
Funny, but for us to take it so lightly, I think they were like, "Oh, here's our opportunity. This is not light," you know. They're so wonderful. They're so great, and I feel like it meant so much to us and everyone who's going to watch. And of course, it's in a lighthearted way for our 30-minute show, but such an important matter to be a part of.
Yeah, and I think they approached it with, in one way or another, a sense of humor because that lives in our show, and in some way, it makes the messaging more digestible. You know.
Well, it was very organic, so it wasn't, which was nice because it went from season 4 to season 5. And so what I like is that they didn't use it as a political platform to be like trending or whatever.
Right.
It just really was organic. And it also made us as the actors and the writers kind of look at it and go like, oh, wow. Like it wasn't like they seized an opportunity. It just came really naturally.
But they've always done that. Our writers have it's always felt incredibly organic and very, very topical and present about what's going on in the world. And it's an opportunity.
And both between 3 and 4 and 4 and 5, the world changed so dramatically. Between 3 and 4 was the election, right? So seismic shift in the world. Seismic shift.
There was
in
an
the world.
election. I blacked out.
And then Me Too between 4 and 5. So
Yeah, I love
What's
how...
next?
Yeah,
exactly what's between
please,
5
give me a
and
break.
6.
What's going to happen between 5 and 6? God.
Yeah, it's great how the show sort of self-corrected with L.L. Moore, who we thought was a sort of like harmless but pervy old man, but in reality he was sexually harassing women like on the regular. So I thought that was a really introspective choice, which I appreciated.
Yeah, and he has an enormous amount of power in the company, and so there's a cost to confronting him. I don't know if there's a story out there that's familiar in any way to that, but it was interesting.
But it's like not that we harp so much on that particular subject matter through the season, but what that devastation does to our company is kind of present throughout the whole season, which is really cool, I think.
And this sort of throws a wrench in Charles and Liza's budding romance because at the end of the day, he is her superior. So Peter, I'm curious, did it make you sort of recontextualize their relationship through this lens, or were you sort of always aware of that problematic power dynamic that exists between Charles and Liza?
You know, I think that anytime you have a why are you laughing? Why? I think that anytime you have a relationship that involves a power dynamic, it has there is a potential problem. There's potential difficulty, and I think that is in the way the story was written one of the obstacles to the possibility of the two of them being together. And I think that in Charles's mind, as the head of a company who has employed a sexual, I'll say, it isn't really overstating it in a sense, a sexual offender, that certainly is something that Charles is deeply aware of. And I think that slowly he makes his way through all of that as he does, trying to negotiate between his head and his heart. So,
yes, there's a lot there. I can't wait for you guys to see it. On the other side of that coin, Hilary, your character has really been praised as this kind of aspirational example of an empowered woman in the workplace. And I wonder, have you been inspired by Kelsey's sort of unapologetic tenacity, and have people, maybe especially young women, approached you who might feel the same?
I think Kelsey's been inspired by Hilary. By
Come on now.
By her tenacity.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're so sweet. Thank you for that. I'm inspired by her every day. Sometimes I'm presented with challenges. Like, I feel so much like her, so I don't feel like we're so far off. But sometimes there's something in the script where I'm like, how am I going to do that? I don't know if I relate to that or whatever. So I feel like I do learn from her and some of the choices that she makes. But it is funny. Keith, a big wig at TV Land came up to me last night and was like, God, Kelsey is sure feisty this season, especially with Peter's character, Charles. And I'm like, I know, she's such a badass. I love it. And I'm like, it's so much fun to play. And he's like, well, I think they're writing it because of you. Like, and I was like, oh, that's so nice. I want to be a badass all the time. So it's really fun to play her, and it's fun that she's growing up, you know, and we get to watch that. She's such a relatable character, and she's really taking the time to be a little more reflective this season and try to learn from some previous mistakes, because her job, you know, she's climbing that ladder at work, and she's becoming a really important member of the business.
Well, you know, your character's relationship is one of my favorite parts of the show, and it was so hard to see them at odds last season.
It sucked for us, too.
Totally blows.
Even behind the scenes, we're like, oh, we hate this.
When is this gonna be over?
You know, Kelsey was like channeling her inner Regina George. It was, So what's the state of your friendship this season as you two are sort of leading Millennial together?
I feel like we're really like owning our power this season, and like Millennials become like a real juggernaut, and it really is about our work relationship and sort of taking charge. But we're good. And we have a couple bumps, but mostly really good.
I think the bumps come from Kelsey. Kelsey is like fully accepting of why Liza has done this and whatever. She's a little nervous about what could happen with the company if people find out. But it's the little lies that she didn't quite think about, like, oh my God, yeah, and of course you had to do that too. And like, how did I not know? And you know, and those like hurt her a little bit. So those build up, and then we kind of have a little thing. But it's quick. Yeah. It's nothing like last season where I was just a straight bully. Drink more. Like that was so aggressive. Right? And sad. We did something last season where when I did that, you were just like making the saddest. Yeah.
Yeah. I love how it resolves itself though this season. Like that bump in the road for you guys resolves itself in a way that I just love. That I think is great. You know.
Yeah, we're the
real deal.
We're the real deal. We're the real love story of the show.
I have.
Can I just add? I always answer questions slowly, and so I just actually thought of something else in answer to your question, which is that slowly made its way through my head, which is that Charles is also somebody, he's the head of a company, right? This was like 5 minutes ago, but who decided, head of a company who decides to market his books with a woman, but be a woman he cares for in a fur bikini, right? So in terms of what he has to look at, in terms of what we all have to look at, and certainly all men have to look at, is how did we contribute to this? What choices did we make? What choices did we simply file away as, it's just the way that things are done. It's the way that everybody does it, right?
They've gotten rid of the bikini in the Miss Universe contest, by the way.
Today, there's no more bathing suit competition.
Yeah.
No,
That's
I think
news
it's just
in
Miss
America, people.
Yeah. Isn't it? It's just Miss America. It's not Miss Universe.
Whatever.
It's Miss America.
Whatever.
Miss Universe
It's
is,
like,
I think,
it's not
fully
new
naked.
news.
I could be wrong though.
I have to go back to you two because, Sutton, I love this photo that you posted of yourself wearing like a Hilary Duff concert tee circa 2005.
Oh my God.
I need to know the story because was it like laundry day? Did you have that lying around?
We were filming down in. We were filming down somewhere downtown, and we were on lunch break, and someone knocks on my trailer door, and they were.
Get any ideas?
No. Don't do that. And I was like, what? And they were like, this is for her. And they hand me a bag with a Hilary Duff t-shirt in it. And I was like, thank you very much, sir.
Like 1999.
Yes.
I have
And
6.
I wore it for a while.
I am so sad I wasn't on set that day.
Oh, it's so good.
The best is that
I
Debbie
love
just
that
was like, why didn't I get one?
I walked into the hair and makeup trailer for touch-ups, like after lunch touch-ups, and Son's just wearing that, and I'm like,
Wait, what?
I just look at her. I'm like, what's going on?
Beautiful Hilary Duff photo.
I mean, it's iconic, so I get it.
I'm supposed to give it to her, but I haven't given it to you
Yeah,
because
you
I
really
kind of want
haven't.
to keep
You're
it.
holding on to that.
Well, it's kind of awesome.
It's a sleep tea.
It's a sleep tea.
Right.
It was a Canada tour. It was an insane tour on the back.
Leave it to Peter Hermann to like pick up that it was a Canadian tour.
Here were the venues.
The details. You know, Debbie, you play Liza's other most trusted confidant, and I heard that this season we see a bit more of an emotional, vulnerable side to you. So tell us about what we can expect from Maggie.
This season, she's got a lot going on. I think she has to deal with the fact that she has commitment issues. And I don't. But apparently she has commitment issues. I was kind of hoping that she would just keep on having lots of different girlfriends constantly because it's really fun. But
AKA commitment issues.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Maggie has some great success with her artwork this season. So she's dealing with like a possible reunion of an ex-romance, possibly, and work, growing up, kind of changing, the page for a second.
What about the Josh and you? You guys have such a sweet relationship this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've always loved that because that didn't need to be a relationship. But I think you gave him back his leather jacket. There was some scene like that, and you really felt that.
I gave you back a jacket?
Yeah, you remember my ex-girlfriend left at your house?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right, yes. I forget these things.
Yeah. Josh and Maggie's relationship is so special. I think
Maggie wore it, by the way.
The leather jacket? Yeah, of course.
So you know.
I don't know. I mean, you and I are so close that
I think the writers have figured out like our bond,
Yeah.
and they just are using us in a way that benefits them, which we love because
we're here
it's
for
very
it.
it's very nice. It's organic, and it's a compliment to my relationship with Liza. Her lover or her ex-lover is so, that we like each other so much, and I believe that it's partially because of the ride or die relationship that Liza and Maggie have.
And Josh stays close to Maggie. Josh stays close to Liza.
Oh.
Right.
I mean, let's
You're
get
using
into
me?
that.
I love you.
The last season ended with Josh's nuptials in Ireland, but we don't see much of him. Same, yeah. We don't see much of him in the premiere, but can we sort of assume that he's happily married with Claire? How will this relationship impact the younger Orbit?
I was in the first episode.
No, Nico.
No, me.
I was too.
Oh, yeah.
We both got.
Yeah, we both got canned from the first episode. This is my answer to that question. Josh's relationship history has always been a little troubled, right? That's no secret. Yes. And old habits are hard to kick. Hard to kick. Yeah.
Do you feel that like Team Josh's numbers are dwindling? Because it's almost like how many times can she rebuff Josh? And so do you think Liza and Josh are still endgame?
I think they still love each other on some level.
Yeah. I mean, when you build that bridge with somebody, right, it takes a lot for it to totally burn down. And I think moving from a romantic relationship to a platonic one is really special. And I think the fact that gets visibility on the show is amazing. They're like family at this point. Oh. But you know what I mean? Extended
Plus, we
family.
live down the street from the tattoo shop.
Yeah.
So
Liza always going over there wearing something sexy. Okay?
Come on now.
It's mean.
And I think you see him. I mean, it makes me mad. You see them on screen together, and the connection's sort of undeniable. And I watch it, and I'm like,
You heard it here first, y'all.
I don't know. You guys have a pretty good one. I don't think it's much. Miriam, I want to talk to you because you have one of my favorite scenes in the series, which is not when you rode that city bike, although that is a close second.
So athletic.
At the end of last season, you had that breakup, and you have that moment in the mirror when you're looking at yourself. And so much is said without saying at all. But how does that set the tone for Diana's journey this season?
Well, it's interesting. I think it was very empowering for Diana to realize that this person was not right for her and to break it off with him, and that being alone is the right thing when you're with the wrong person, and it's not sad. It's empowering. And then you put on a giant flower necklace and go get an award.
As one does.
If you're Diana. I eat a pint of ice cream. But and I think it weirdly, she has some romance in her life coming up in season 5. And I think she's a little guarded because of it. You start to question your own choices when you realize that it wasn't the right one in relationships. So she's a little wary of letting her guard down. But there's a blast from the past who comes in to rekindle some stuff. And it gets funny and good. And it's great.
It's probably my favorite storyline.
And dirty in a very particular way.
Yes.
Hey now.
That's a good tease.
Whoa.
Okay.
He's right.
does.
He's absolutely
You're
right.
And I heard you also directed an episode.
I did. I directed episode 5.
Yeah.
Episode 5.
She was fabulous.
She was
what
amazing.
was it like to sort of direct, co-stars, friends?
They're
that you...
all such divas. No, it was paradise. It was my favorite thing. I was so lucky that I got to direct. It was a dream come true. And then I was directing these people. And, we all love each other so much. I love these guys so much. But to see them from the other side of the camera, I was like bowled over by how much I love them, how much I appreciated them, how talented they are, and just, I was the boss, and I was trying to put this story together, and I would ask things of them, and they would just deliver, and they were so committed. They're so good, and there was so much love on the set. It was really fantastic.
It was the best
was a
episode
boss
to
lady.
shoot.
Talk about someone who
Killed
knew what you wanted. You were so prepared. She just looked like she fit, like with her ear monitors on, like right or her ear. What are they
Ear
called?
monitors.
Yeah, in front of the monitor, like just watching, and she was just smiling at us, like like a proud mom at a recital. That's how she was behind the monitor.
She's such a wonderful actress. So it was It was so great to get notes from her because they were always right and they were so smart.
We could understand them.
And we could understand them.
And you know it right away as an actor, right? When a director says something in a heartbeat, like, she's got me. Immediately, it's like you can smell it. It
was so safe.
Incredible.
We can't wait for you to do it again.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Every episode.
I really hope you do next season because I just have to say, Miriam, I looked over and you were behind the monitor and she forgot to call cut because she couldn't stop watching. So she was watching the monitor like this, smiling, and then oh right, cut.
But it really was. I mean, it was like 4 a.m. in Bryant Park with you, and we're trying to make it snow. It's craziness, and I'm just like, what I need is this, and then action, and then you just are amazing. No, we cut the snow, but we did it, and then cut it. And then you just, and I was like, that's exactly what I need. You're just so good. So I fell deeply, deeply in love with everybody, the whole crew, everybody, and the cat, mostly Sutton. The whole cast. It was a different level of how I felt.
I can't wait to see. Molly, I want to ask you. Lauren's always introducing the gang to new trends, hotspots in New York, and experiences. What can we see? I hear there's sort of a new professional thing on the horizon for her. So, what can we expect?
First of all, I love your romp hymn.
Yes.
You're welcome. This season for Lauren, I think, is really, really, really fun because last season we end on this note of her saying, failure is not an option. And she's sleeping in a closet, standing straight up. So she gets saved by Kelsey and Josh, and they're living together, and that's fun. But professionally, she takes on starting her own PR firm. And the passion and the drive and the focus, with which she does that is so cool. And it was so fun to play. I mean, she's snarkier than ever and wackier. And, she's a trip. Honestly, I got sick, I think, when we wrapped because I had exerted so much energy to play her. That it's kind of, in school when you finish a semester and you get the terrible flu because you can finally fight it. But this season kicked my butt in the most fun way.
And we get to finally meet.
Oh, Diana and I meet for the first time. That is so funny. And they have a little, really, I don't know. The season is a ball.
You introduce us to the first genderqueer character on Younger, which is really exciting.
That was my episode.
Yes, I do. Lauren schools. Yeah, that's the episode that Miriam directed. Lauren schools everyone on genderqueerness.
Great. I realized it was so convincing. I actually called you Lauren instead of Molly.
Oh, did you? God, see, I'm so used to it. For season, listen, 5 seasons of that. Our head PA this year, his name was Lauren, so I'd always be like, yeah.
And we have a new series regular.
New guy.
Yes. We met Zane last season, and he had this sort of tumultuous romance with Kelsey. But what was it like to officially come on board and start the season as one of the gang?
Tell us, what was it like?
Hazing was brutal.
I like you, and you were there, and you were there, and you were there. You were great. It was a lot of fun because, I got sort of a trial run last season. And so I knew what I was kind of getting into and signing up for. And so
he gets to work with me.
Exactly. And she's an excellent kisser, by the way.
She is. It's true. It's true.
See if I can make you blush.
I'm blushing.
That was my goal. I'm out. That's what I signed up for.
Can we expect more of like an inter-office romance? Because they have this really electric chemistry, a lot of bickering going back and forth.
That's why we're seated so far apart. Is you get us too close, it'll start a fire. The sprinklers will go off.
Do you think Kelsey can trust Zane again after sort of being betrayed last season?
You see a lot of different, you can probably talk about this more than me, but a lot of different sides of Zane this season, which is nice. A little more human side, where you're like, he's not a bad choice. You know, like he just really was playing games with her and not taking her seriously, but I think he was afraid to get hurt. And, you know, a few...
I feel so seen and vulnerable now.
What? I know.
You're right.
Well, you do. You put yourself out
I'm
there.
buying this. Let's please, like... we stand.
We have a troubled like tumultuous, like irresistible relationship like the whole season, and it's really fun for us. Like we have a good time, and we never know when the other. We're like, are you playing with me right now? Like, are you being for real? Like, and then it's like that on set and off set. You're like,
yeah, on and off. I didn't know. You pulling my leg? You pulling my leg?
And I might add that my experience with Charles Michael Davis is somebody on set said, Charles, and I answered, yes.
It's the best
and then
going ever.
came, no, hot Charles.
They said,
hey, hot Charles, just want to say.
Who said that?
I think there's
was
more
me.
room for
It
more
was
than
me.
one Charles.
I think it was True Love, Jennifer True Love.
Oh, really?
Wow, just out of true love.
I love that. You know, before we go to audience Q&A, I want to ask, this season really does feel like a culmination of sorts of so many relationships over the past 4 seasons. And I know the show has already been picked up, of course, for a 6th season, but do you have sort of an ending in mind? Has Darren shared that with any of you? No?
We don't know anything.
Think about
ever.
that.
Season
I've wanted
20.
one forever.
We with our walkers, we're like, she's 27. Amazing.
No, we keep trying to ask Darren what he thinks the end game is, and he's like, if you have any ideas, let me know. Like they have no idea, and it's actually kind of exciting because they're
Spin-off is called Older.
Wait. A fan came up to me not that long ago and was like, I have an idea for the end of the show. And I was like, okay, tell me. And he goes, you find out at the end of the show that you are all actors and this was a book that was written, and you like pull back.
I just got chills.
But I think to that point, I think it's to the writers' credit that they have now spun the storylines and the stories and the relationships into a more distant and fuller and more robust orbit than simply circling always around this one device of she's lying, who will know, who won't know. And I think they are so elegant in their work that they've been able to do that. And I think and it also speaks to the sophistication of the fans, because they would tire of that if that's as small an orbit as we would stay in.
Sex and the City got 2 movies.
Right.
Just saying.
Also, I think too, like when you have the kind of privilege and the treat of being on a show that's been on this many seasons, at a certain point, yes, plot is obviously important. That's what makes it watchable. But I think what makes it inherently like bingeable and so satisfying is that you end up caring so much about the characters that you watch for them, and then it becomes about the events of their lives rather than the plot. And that's so cool. Like whenever I watch our show now, I have to be careful. If I watch a show and then shoot like the next day or something, I'll accidentally try calling people by their names of their characters, not my like friends. But I don't know. I believe it when I watch it.
We don't even care about the plot anymore. We're so, you know what I mean? Like we're all like, oh, what's happening right now with this person? What's happening with this person? It's like
it's about the relationships.
No, it feels so authentic, and I love how the show's constantly evolved, and I think it's for the better, and for the better of the fans too, I think. So let's hear from them. I'm sure they're burning to ask you some questions. First question.
Hi, everybody. So I've been watching since season 1, day 1.
Yeah,
it's
girl.
been awesome to follow along with you guys. So my question is, what was the most interesting season to film?
This season.
Season 5.
This season.
Yeah.
It's also the fastest.
It
I mean, I
flew
felt like this
by.
flew by.
I felt like this was the most fun.
It's complex too. There's a lot of complexity.
Much to pull from. Yeah.
It's you.
Because you're here. Yeah. It's the most fun because you're here.
Funny.
Definitely.
That's good. That's good. I don't know.
A
What's
wild
the variable? What's different this season? I know exactly, right? Yeah.
I'm gonna do a quick math equation.
So much happens this season, and we can't really talk about it because they threaten our jobs. But
and our lives.
But so much happens, and I think it's the most eventful season, and it happens quickly and all throughout, and so it's just like a bang. And I think all of us, we haven't slowed down. Like it was one of the hardest seasons to shoot by far, and the quickest. So we're all like, oh my God, wait, it's over.
It's just getting bigger and bigger, and like everyone's stories are just getting bigger and bigger. So it's
the
like,
worlds are colliding.
Yeah, it's
The first season was really fun too because it was about discovery. In the very beginning, I know. I just remember the pilot and the snowstorm.
Yeah, I think that over 4 seasons, it's like these towers have been built, and now in the 5th, you start pulling things out of the bottom of the tower.
Jenga,
Right?
Jenga.
And so,
I mean,
buy Jenga at a store near you.
I didn't think they could sort of top that twist of a falling beam crushing to that. But trust me, guys, the end of the first episode is like... okay,
Metaphorical beam.
one dies.
not like that, but I was shocked. Next question.
Hi, so Nico, congrats on your real life nuptials.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
So this question's for anyone who feels like they want to answer. But you guys have some very musically inclined cast members, and I'm wondering if you would be interested in doing a musical episode.
Younger on Broadway.
We want to be on Broadway. We don't want to do one episode.
I'll call some people.
Can you make that happen?
No problem.
2-time Tony?
You got it.
Maybe people sing this season.
Actually, this season we do hear some characters sing for the very first time. I can't tell you, Liza, but I can't say that she sings well. I don't think Liza has a hidden musical talent.
Or maybe she
Lots of
does.
singing, actually,
There is a lot of singing.
year.
Yeah, and some dancing.
Not quite what maybe everybody's expecting.
Hilary, when you mentioned Little Lies earlier, I was like, oh my God. That's what if I have a party playlist, Little Lies comes on the regular. Yes. Can we expect any more sort of...
My song,
Your
Little
song,
Lies?
Little Lies.
No, the other Little Lies.
Good morning.
That original is great, but I love
Remember you
your
sang?
take on it.
Remember that?
Oh, thank you.
Can we expect any more sort of music with the show or outside of the show?
You know what? Not outside of the show right now, which is so sad. But I don't. The show keeps me so busy. Like, when am I going to tour? How am I going to make a record? I do have a musician boyfriend who's like writing songs all the time, and I'm like, I want that one. He's like, you're not making a record right now, so no, that's not for you. But you know what? It's just a part of my life. Like even on set, we're constantly singing, and I don't know. They haven't asked me to sing another song for the opening, so maybe I
really
didn't
Land.
like it.
Hello.
Yeah, hey, TV Land.
Okay, we have another question.
Hi guys, I'm a big fan. I've binged it like 3 times. That might be embarrassing to admit, but I did it. So clothes are kind of a big part of the show. I was wondering if anybody had like a favorite fashion moment.
Well, I always loved that from last season, the big red. But because I suggested that, I said, well, what if she put on like the largest flower ever? And they were like, we'll make it. And then it was
Michael's, and they got like a
and then they made it, and then it happened, and I manifest destiny. So I love that moment. I did get bruised from one of my necklaces this season, like just random bruises.
Bruce?
Bruce.
Bruised.
Who's
You got
bruised?
Bruised. I bruise and bleed for you.
I had a favorite fashion moment last season was that purple dress with the big yellow flower.
I loved that.
I loved that.
Red lip.
Blue. I
that
also
the one you
loved your blue like
couldn't get
Cinderella
off?
gown from the
God, I couldn't
from the
breathe in that
pubies.
thing.
This was the pubbies, the pubies.
Season 2?
No, I
On the
hated
show,
that.
I'm
The
talking
oyster?
about. On the show. In the
The
party.
oyster?
Oh, the oyster.
Solange, the Solange.
Oh.
Dinosaur dress.
Solange
That
Knowles
was my
dress,
favorite.
yeah.
What did you say to me when I walked out? You were like, you look like a pterodactyl or something.
You look like those dinosaurs that open up their things and they go, ugh, and they spit.
yes.
You look like one of the...
Pterodactyls are very in right now, so on trend.
We have a lot of fashion moments we love, actually. Like that's kind of one of the fun
Your
about the
suit
show.
this year? Your power
Ooh,
suit?
I wear a
by
silver
Oh my gosh,
Power suit is amazing.
I was so nervous because I was like, how do I
Sutton
walk
wears the
confidently
suit.
in this suit? It was really great.
It is fantastic. That's got to be one of my favorite moments.
always
And it's also
get
a great
excited.
moment in the show.
Yeah.
It's
We
rad.
always get excited to see what Diana's wearing.
Who knows? Available for purchase. Every time I walk
we're
on
like,
set,
wow, that's
we'll be like,
available.
available for purchase. One of the bracelets I wore this year just looked like a giant ashtray that I just like punched a hole in and wore it.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I got in the men's department. I got to go to Marty Greenfield's in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, to get suits made. And Marty Greenfield is an 84-year-old, just light of a human being.
Tailoring. Is it
and,
good?
It's
Good tailoring.
It's fantastic.
Beautiful. And you know, it's hard to make a suit for a 9-foot tall person.
Yeah, you have to pay double. You have to pay double because it's like 2 suits.
2 suits.
Sutton wore a really cute dress. Hi, it's me, not hi.
Hey, Lauren, Molly.
Yeah,
Hi.
just call me
Can I
Lauren.
just say Lauren cone boobs? That's all I'm saying.
Lauren?
Oh,
I wear
cone-
cone boobs.
That was your
Cone boobs was good.
half of your outfit was made from Michaels, and then the slip underneath was Gucci.
Yeah, it was so bizarre.
That cracked me up.
Truly, it
Verse,
was like
verse.
plastic hula skirt from Michaels and then a Gucci skirt underneath. But hey, Sutton wore that cute Rachel Comey dress. Remember that I couldn't stop staring at? And then I get a text from Hilary a couple of days ago, and she's like, "Look who got the dress."
Did you get it?
Yeah, she got it. She looks great in it too.
I asked for it.
She looks great in it too.
I'm gonna keep
Guess what? Got it on sale.
Yes, I love
Yes.
it.
Oh my gosh.
It's
You got
such
that
a
blue
great
and
look.
borrow
white.
it.
You got that blue and white thing too. Is that that's what we're talking about? The white thing, right?
Not
Right,
on
right.
sale.
And not on sale. And remember the Saint Laurent
She was
jackets
pricey.
that you
Because
also.
I think
you
you're
still
noticing
a lot
we
of
do
clothes
not
from
get
Liza.
excited by the fashion.
I know,
I should
fashion
go in
at
at
all.
the end.
Liza-
I feel like I dress more like that.
Yeah,
Like,
I
okay,
know.
so when Sutton and I first met was at the table read in LA. And this is how many years ago? 5 years ago or something? I show up with like heels on, sweatpants, and like a leather jacket. And she's like, okay,
This is
Oh,
what
people
the
do
young
that.
people are wearing.
Right.
I was like, oh shit! All right, cool. I had no idea. I don't even remember what I was wearing.
You're like method. Yeah.
but yes, I do. I love a lot of the stuff you wear.
I mean, it's also
I like what I wear because I kind of love to wear like dresses and heels. I'm really feminine. And then my wardrobe is stuff that I feel really cool in because I have like painter's outfits and really cool high-waisted pants and cool leather jackets. And it's kind of brought me back to wearing that stuff in my life again, feeling cool. I feel cool now. Thank you to my wardrobe.
Deb has the
Coolest.
most swagger.
Yes,
Anyway.
Debi Mazar, you are
Wait.
cool.
Yeah.
Again.
Debbie, tell
Queen
them
of cool.
about your kids, your daughters.
Oh, my daughters think I'm cool now too because I borrow the clothes sometimes and I wear them home for like a weekend if I'm gonna go out with my husband. And like, Ma, that's really rad. Like, where did you get that? And I'm like, oh, it's from, Zara actually. And you too can have it. Let's go shopping. And it's brought me closer with my daughter.
Nice.
Like,
Fred.
yeah, it's really nice.
We have one more question for you.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. I've also been watching since the start, and I'm very excited for the new season. I wanted to know if there was anything that you maybe have enjoyed most about being on the show, whether it's something you learned that you took away or just your time off together, what you do in your spare time, since everything's an experience and you always learn and, have fun. So
I'll start because this is I give this answer every time we get this question. Are you guys ready for it?
Yeah.
Blonde. I know. I blonded myself. This show is amazing because the most important part of it is that I've made these amazing friends and I've gained now 7 champions. The show gave me a career, and I've learned how to be an actress in this industry because of every person sitting here. And their unconditional love and support makes going to work, even when I'm scared to do a scene, I feel completely supported. And it's like a gift of a job. Are you crying? It's a total gift. And it's I have to pinch myself every day, So sweet. So true.
Oh, man. Such a good answer.
Fuck that. Go, go, go.
We all have such full lives, almost everybody except for you. You're a California girl, but we all live in New York City, and we feel so lucky to be able to live in New York and work here in New York. And so many of us have children and families and lives, and there's so much love and respect on set, and for me, coming from the theater world and then transitioning into television, for me, this has been just an unbelievable gift and opportunity and I couldn't ask for kinder, more wonderful people to have this experience with. It really is like the best job I've ever had, but it's hard to call it a job because it's really
there's no drama.
There's no drama,
and we don't also infringe upon each other's personal space if that's what's happening. It's just very comfortable.
We all get to be ourselves, and also we've had the same crew since we started. So that's a wonderful way to walk into work every day with a support system, people that know you, people that all want to be there. It's really
testament to, I think, the environment that we've created, I think, right?
Supremely goofy and try to make each other laugh all the time. And that's a real good time. Right?
And I'll also say, there's that saying that, a team reflects its leader, and it has a lot to, the spirit of the show has a lot to do with who is at the top.
It's actually you. Actually, it's right here.
Call sheet.
Right here.
And if you have somebody there who is problematic or feels entitled or is difficult in any way, that trickles down, because then everybody else feels the right that they have to do, that they have that right. And if you have this person there, then there's a spirit that trickles down into everything that is something very, very, very special. So just by being who you are, you're just quite a gift. Take it in.
Sutton knows her lines. She doesn't come to set with her script or sides. Okay, she knows her lines
and everyone else.
Everybody else's.
Everybody has to kind of come in and be as prepared as she is. So
if you want to make a good show, put Sutton Foster in it.
Yeah.
Good rule to live by.
Good rule of thumb.
I think I can speak for the viewers out there that we feel the love between you all, and I think that's what makes the show such a success and such a special show at that. So we have to let you go, but make sure to check out the Younger premiere tonight on TV Land.
Come on
Let's
now.
give it up.
Tonight.